That represents Kahn's total mouthpiece output right there. Over each layer is a sort of a gear. This is the Kahn Company's collection.
Yeah, the Greenleaf was one of the owners.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So quite a few of the pieces in here, I don't know exactly which ones, but quite a few of the pieces are probably prototypes. In other words, they were just put on a shelf. The fiberglass sousaphone, I think, is one of those. I'm quite sure the Kano sax back there there's no serial number on it. The big gold body was a
Special edition.
was just a it was an exhibition piece, and nobody in his right mind would want to play it. It's just too heavy. And I don't know any story of this one right here, but it's with the engraving on the bell. It wasn't just off the center.
I think that was the artist engraving, because there's another guy who has 46K. It has a silver body and a complete gold bell.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. And it's not a satin gold; it's a bright gold bell. And he said they're the same. They're ordered at the same time, so it was a matched bell and body. But it has this much more extravagant, much like that engraving on this.
Well, whenever you find a real engraving, particularly if it's fairly extensive, that was a special instrument of some kind, because they don't come off the line that way. So this is an Alexander F 6 valve. This is a Kahn which doesn't play. It's probably from the 30s.
Oh, was that one of the early rotary ones?
It's a rotary. Yeah. And I would love to get some generous technician to donate his time and put that in playing condition, because the instrument itself is in quite good shape, but it just had sat for a long, long time.
Is that one of the ones that Helleberg, I forgot his first name, because Helleberg and his 2 sons, or 3 sons, used the rotary valve.
Did they?
Fans.
Yeah. I don't know the answer to that.
Maybe they were Sanders.
I do know that Bill Bell had a rotary valve King, which was not unlike that.
The Monster Kings, yeah. Surprising to see the second valve tucked in the back.
And then this big monster down here is an Essenbach. It's an old German made, turn of the century. And the linkage and everything is pretty shot in that, but it's playable to the stuff that you can get some sound out of.
Well, Ian, when you when you start to get all together, you can come back and.
Yeah, I'm looking at brass repair.
Are you? Good. That's a good field.
I want to eventually build tubas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of brass players buy their instruments today from custom builders. No question about it.
I talked with a guy, Dr. Frederick Young, who made mouthpieces like this. It's got no backbore, essentially a giant French horn mouthpiece.
It looks like it.
But he made some for Reynolds, and they were about like that long.
Wow.
They were, interesting items. They work really well. But he had garage build one of those. If you've ever seen the double tuba that he made, with 7 valves, and it's like
No, I've not.
Oh. Well, it's a really interesting instrument, but I asked him about sousaphones and whatnot, and he said if you wanted to actually build a proper sousaphone in the dimensions that you're talking about, because I was asking you about 36-inch bells, and he goes, well, if you wanted to do that, you'd probably have to have a 2-inch bore. And he goes, that'd be practically impossible to play. You can scale it down a bit, but you still get more, your proper dimensions from a trumpet. extended outwards.
All the proportions.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going towards.
Good. Well, I had a former student who went into instrument repair, graduated from Manchester where I was teaching. He was a pretty good saxophone player, but went to the Redmond school, and he's just right out of school had terrific jobs. He's now working, the last I knew him, he was working out in a big outfit where he supervised all the techs who brought the instruments into the store and then adjusted them.
Wow.
For the players. And his job was to supervise all that. So these guys always had good jobs. So I think there's good work out there. And if you want to build stuff, Sam, Sam Nagy, that
Yes.
Sam has built a couple of pieces himself. The little one I saw was a little seat that you built on a whole bunch of parts. We played her sideline. It was very nice.
Oh yeah, a lot of people like this.
Yeah, so it was very big.
He just only started making the bigger 6'4".
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's actually doing more of that.
Oh yeah, he makes a lot of those.
Yeah.
A lot of people I see have those instruments. And they love them.
Yeah. Well, I used to substitute for Sam. He had to miss some game before we went live. So we were trying to, at that time, he was trying to make a little extra money, but even didn't, but EMT. Well, some of the other pieces here are kind of interesting too. These are Adolph saxophones made in his factory in 1858 and 59. E flat and C. So those are kind of rare pieces. Some oddities, not real odd, but the curved sopranos were pretty popular in the 20s and 30s.
And Bowie just now started making more of those.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The sopranino saxophone, which you don't see very often. And that could be a very nice little instrument, cleaned up and put in playing condition. I'm not sure I've ever heard one played, but Con made some really good saxophones, particularly in the 20s. They claimed that they were the first American company to make a saxophone. They probably were. And most of the cornets and trumpets over here, not the trumpets so much, but the cornets, most of those are original cons, many of them made before at least 1910 or 1915. And as you look at all these, you can see that engraving, and many of them have just wonderful engraving.
Yeah, that really is just remarkable work.
Yeah.
Yeah, all hand done.
All
All
hand done,
guys,
yeah.
their own department just for that.
Yep. Hans' head man, the most famous one, was a guy named Jake Gardner. And Jake did this famous trombone right here, gold plated. And apparently it took, Jake was gone, I think, at this time, but it took 2 men 3 months to do the big sousaphone.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, the front side of the bell is every bit as ornate as the back.
Oh yeah, the history of right in the front.
Yeah.
The weird plates or whatever that they stuck on there.
The Con factory.
Yeah.
And then busts of composers and all that. See, on the back side, where the performer can see, are mostly bathing beauties. In an all-male world, you know, you could do that. And the key bugles. One of our really best key bugles upstairs in the concourse, in the little exhibit up there, but it's an 1851 model. We know that because it's engraved with a bell and it graves. And it's E.G. Wright, excuse me. So those are instruments that were kind of short-lived, really probably about 50 or 60 years, but this was the first chromatic brass instrument aside from the sackbut. And some of these pieces right here are really in pretty nice shape.
Oh yeah.
The little copper guy there, I think, is a pretty early model, and I would have to go back to my notes to try and tell you why I think that, but I think part of it has to do with the way the posts are put on the body of the instrument. But that's probably what some of the early ones look like. Way back. And of course, the alpha clyde is just the bass voice. So, I suspect this is an E flat. We've never tried to play it. Pads on or anything.
Now, are those alto horns?
Altos. Mostly from the last quarter of the 19th century. And some of the woodwinds that we have here are just sort of examples of the way the key mechanisms were developed. So this is a fairly modern Selmer, 1870 or so, that's been restored. It wasn't in bad shape or anything, but that's the old system, sometimes called the Albert system of fingering.
What's the difference?
Well, you have notice the
Instead of on the,
yeah, you've got some open keys here, non-ring keys. Okay, and some of the left-hand, right-hand fingerings are a little different yet, and it probably would. You could probably define that a little more carefully by the era in which that fingering system was actually made, because that, again, was kind of a developmental thing. And then, primitive things, well, not really primitive, but this little guy right here comes from 1815.
My gosh.
Pretty interesting little piece. Of course, the clarinet started, this one has only two keys, one in front, one in back. And then, the keys were added gradually, the length was changed. And this was, let's see, I think this instrument here is in C. So we have different pitches. The pitch of the clarinet wasn't always just B flat. So as the keys were added, the instruments, of course, changed, and same kind of thing happened with the flutes. And that wasn't really all sorted out. I mean, the new fingering system was invented in 1838, but really wasn't all sorted out in terms of what most people used until pretty much the 20th century.
I do have a question on the piccolo on the end. What a guy, one of the percussionists, Jerry, in the I think he's
Jerry Endress.
he found something that looks remarkably close to that. He bought it off of eBay, but we were wondering what it was. And I mean, it looks almost identical.
They have keys in it.
Yeah, it has limited keys, and it's made of something, and it has similar. I mean, what's the mouthpiece made of?
That's ivory.
Oh, okay. So I was right in my assumption.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
Yeah, this is an Euler, and it's pretty shaky. So if you take a hold of it, hold it for both ends.
No, I'm not
See, but the ivory almost always cracks over time. But this is a pretty cute little instrument right here. Well, it could have been a fife. That's why I was asking some questions. I don't know if from your description I couldn't really tell, and I'm not sure that anybody with less than expertise in that area could define it anyway. Now, there we go. Nope. That one just barely fits. We stand them up like that because if you lay them down over time with moisture and so forth, they work because of their own weight. And some of them have. The old clarinets had wooden mouthpieces and tied this reeds on with string.
Oh, gosh.
There's some string on that one yet. The reed is gone, but that mouthpiece shows you some little grooves there, which would have helped hold the string. Well, this one and that one have too.
I would have never thought about that part of it. Wow.